Okay, let's go. So, this is the first video in a series of video logs. That means I can keep track of 2025. As I'm recording this, it is the 12th of January, 2025. And something I realised at the end of 2024 was that while I knew I'd worked on projects and different things and achieved stuff, I couldn't really recall what any of that was in any real detail. Like the very recent projects I knew about, but I was like, well, I know I did this, but I can't really remember what the process was, or did I do this before or after that other thing? My memory, even at its best, is not particularly structured. It's just everything just sort of coheres into a big blob. So I want these logs as a way for me to remember my progress throughout the year, the stuff I've worked on, just to say, yes, this was a year where things did actually get done. So, opening with, and I've changed the render engine to Eevee, because if I leave it on cycles, it'll hurt. I've made a bunch of mushrooms, and the reason for this is I don't like texturing. I find it stressful and annoying, and it's not fun for me. It just, oh man, those are some real weird looking mushrooms out on the edge there. And I've never really understood how to do it, and I've always wanted to be quite a hand painted sort of a project type person. And so I found this thing called Paint System. It's an add-on for Blender, and I really like it because it is just, you switch on Paint Blender, not Paint Blender, Paint System. You do the basic, just smart UV unwrap thing, and bam, you're away. You can just draw by hand digitally onto the texture, and it just kind of works. There's a couple of issues I came across. This one, I wasn't able to quite work out why it was doing that. I think it's because something in how the UV map exists might have, I don't know, my error, not any of this stuff's. But yeah, I just made a mushroom, duplicated it, did a bunch of them, just so it would look nice in... Nope. Oh my god, how do I know there is a way to set it to this camera. I can't remember how to do it. Anyway, we're going to move on to the next thing, because I don't want to waste too much time on any individual thing here. Open recent. I'm using my face camera to hide what I'm going through. So, one of the... Ignore? I don't know. So, one of the other things I've never been particularly good at is rigging animations. Or rigging 3D models. As in, I've done it once or twice in the past, but it was literally, here's a tube does this. So not great. So can I remember how this is actually set up? If I grab, no, I've got to go to pose mode, grab that, and then bam, I can sort of move some stuff around. I want to say that this one is a thing called Rigify. It's an add-on called Rigify. And yeah, without it, could not have achieved this, like, almost at all. I have tried, yeah, like I said, I've tried doing things from, like, base elements before, and it just doesn't really work for me for whatever. I grab this foot, there we go. But yeah, so this 3D model, I just slapped it together because I needed something very quick, very basic to function as sort of the base for the bones. Bloop, bloop, bloop. And then we're going to move to the end bit of the project, which is, well, not end bit of the project, but end bit of like this series of things, which is Don't save. This guy. This is... Come on, let me close you up. Close area. There we go. So this is just a little bit of an animation I did. It's not particularly impressive, but he just does that for a while. I mean, forever, because it's stuck in a looped animation. But yeah, this was modeled by me, colored using color, whatever it's called. I forget. Paint system. There we go. And, oh, itchy leg, itchy leg, itchy leg. And I'm really happy with this. It's not a particularly impressive animation. The rig doesn't actually work particularly well. If I give this a pause and then just come out here. Come over to you and then have all of you lot on show. Come down here in front. We go up here, pose mode. Sorry, I'm still having to like talk my way through this because I'm not. So I was like, okay, cool. So if you are going to do this arm because it's one that isn't moved yet. So come up here, go to tweak. And then, so hand does that when you grab that bit. Cool, makes perfect sense. Forearm does this, solid. So what happens when you grab this bit? Well, that's a different thing to what it normally does, but okay. Why are you doing that? Wait, what? What's happening? Okay. What? Okay, now I'm just... Yeah, so it does that. Hang on. Have I been grabbing the wrong bit? So... Huh. Yep. Wait. What? Okay, so you go down. But then, yeah, you just move... like that. And then... So I'm assuming there's a thing where because of this little line here, it moves differently because these are like directly attached to each other. So I'm like, was this meant to be directly attached to that? Because these do the same things, but I genuinely don't know. Assume I can't go further. Yeah, no. Cool. But yeah. So then you can just sort of see the rig in there, just attach things. It's auto weight painted, so I didn't do any of the weight painting for it. But no, I'm really happy with this project as a whole. I'm shifting I'm shifting gears for a bit. Because I know doing too much of one thing in a row burns me out on it, and then I don't want to come back to it ever. So I'm moving. I'm just going to let this little dude play while I talk about this next bit. Actually, okay, hang on. I want to check something because I know it's doable, and for some reason I cannot. Yeah, set active camera. I tried doing. Yeah, okay, cool. So I want to talk about the next project that I plan to work on, which is more of a practical project rather than a digital project. I have wanted to build a storage server for a while now, have a, I think, NAS, network attached storage as a NAS, and I just haven't really gotten round to it for one reason. Well, no, the reason I haven't got around to it is because it costs money. But I was like, oh, I could do it with like a Raspberry Pi and then just plug external HDD into it, and then I could run that as the NAS. But I wanted something a bit nicer. I wanted something that could run full Windows if I wanted to run it as... I was like, I've got enough old hardware that I could build network attached storage that is a full computer that is just running. I think I haven't looked too far into it, but the next project I'm working on is a I think it's going to be my next project. It's certainly what I'm currently planning for. Is a 3D printed computer case that can fit a motherboard, a couple of hard drives, power supply, fans, just everything that a PC needs. And I'm going to use aluminium extrusion and 3D printing to make it. And I don't know how well this is going to go. So there are options. I have seen people online make 3D printed computer cases. It seems quite popular. It seems doable. And I'm not seeing entirely a reason that it won't work. If I try doing it entirely 3D printed, I can see reasons it would fail because it would melt and buckle under its own weight. But I'm thinking if I go with extruded aluminium as sort of the bones of it, and then have everything else 3D printed in PETG because that's got a high melting temp, then that should, in theory, work. Some of it will have to be reinforced. Something I've wanted to give a try for a while now is resin and fabric reinforcing. So effectively, I think it's normally done for like with carbon fiber reinforcing, but in this case, it's not there. It doesn't need to be that strong. You use carbon fiber because it's a strong material. It's like very rigid. That's not what I need for this. I just need it to be bleh. Will it work? Probably not. Is it going to be cheaper? Actually, probably not. I was looking at just buying a second-hand PC case, and that was going to cost me 30 quid. The aluminium extrusion I've already bought, I've ordered it from Amazon, has cost me 32 quid for a total of about 4 meters of 20 by 20 V slot aluminium extrusion. I could have gotten it cheaper by going T slot, but I was like, V slot I could do some stuff with, like some other options if I wanted to like go with a different projects. I realized this one wasn't gonna work because I've wanted to do like a camera rail sort of a thing, because I think that would be neat for specifically actually this camera, because the only position I can currently put it in is there, and it's quite difficult to position correctly. But yeah, that's my next project in Fusion 360. I hope this first video has been reasonable. I hope you've enjoyed this, what I think is over 6 minutes of a little dancing lad. How do I stop this recording?